Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 130th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today along with Peggy. And I think that we'll have the members of the Universal Council present today's workshop as usual for these particular One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace workshops. So we'll begin with the presentation from the Universal Council.
Yes, hello everybody. I am Marie from the Universal Council representing the Norwegian language. Today's presentation is having one new vision, which is very exciting because it unites us all. So I want to read that in just a moment. Through the beauty of the soul of diversity of the languages spoken on planet Earth, all souls are equal and all are as creators, as they are created in the image of the Creator. So that was not the wish, but that was a beautiful text taken from earlier teachings by Mr. Keshe. So this is the One Planet, One Nation, One Race, and we can go to the next slide, please. Okay. We have listened to Mr. Keshe, I think in the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, and he has requested us that the Universal Council should unite as one soul. I will say something more about that after reading this wish. So this is kind of the vision or a wish for the One Nation. Our wish is that all Universal Council members are one soul. As one soul, we are one with humanity. And as the soul of humanity, we are one with the universal community, the Universal Council. So I want to say something about this wish. When we unite as one soul of the One Nation, we are following universal law, and we act good, think good, and speak good. And we are following the ethos of the Keshe Foundation, which is we are here to serve, not to be served. We are following the commandments, which is you don't steal, and you do not steal from yourself either. As one nation, borders, governments, leaders does not matter. As the soul of the man is the king and queen of our existence. So the soul is the most important thing. No punishment, only elevation of souls. We share the knowledge we have learned with everyone by encouragement and by elevation. We create the condition for inspiration and from it understand new dimensions and to bring the understanding of the totality, like Mr. Keshe tells us over and over again. And when we unite, and that is all of us, as one soul of humanity, then we are all united. We live in inclusive societies. We are caring for each other. We are one race. the race of humanity. And as one with the universal communities, we have world peace within and without. We are the ambassadors of the planet Earth. We, humanity, brings knowledge and wisdom, and we share and greet our visitors from the universe, our brothers and sisters. Thank you. So next slide, please.
So, hello, welcome, welcome, my dear ones, to the One Nation, One Planet, One Race. Welcome to the Universal Council. Dear ones, welcome in all that is love, all that is peace. As Marie said about the vision, this is so beautiful as we are all in this, triggering each level to another level, in the level of love coming through. So I will say that we are we are now we know the energy of love, as my messiah, Shriman Mehran Tavakoli Keshe, has taught us how to love, how to feel the peace, and we are feeling it in this universal energy. So I'll enhance this vision, and I will enhance this vision as uh, I want to say something about it also. As a universal community, we are soulfully helping, sharing each other from eons, knowingly and unknowingly, as because our Creator has created all of us in this manner. And then our Mother Earth is alive and ascending, elevating. So thus we are too. So as each of us is a universal energy of peace and love, have all the capacity to create, to give, and to radiate all the energy to all. So please join. This is an appeal, a call of love from my heart and soul, from the heart and soul of the Universal Council, to all beautiful souls all over the world to join this universal energy, this Universal Council. Uh, join as a member of the Universal Council, join as a Universal Council group member to radiate more and more now, forever, to all those who need it. As because this is the time of peace, this is the time of love, this is the time of services, this is the time, as the five pillars were created, the dome, this is the time to go home. And we have in the knowledge seekers, we have now know about the five cups, and there's a cup of inertia. Initiate the inertia with all the love, to give the love to all. So this is the cup of inertia will do as a cup, as us. Initiate in the love, again in the energy of love. So this is an invitation to join the Universal Council, my dear ones. Especially I appeal to the younger generation, as they can come straight there as uh, uh, in alignment. It will come in alignment in few days, as everything is balancing in the foundation. So please join, and uh, please, the younger generation, please join. And uh, there's no need of pain and suffering anymore, as that was taught us, given to us from eons. This is all beauty that is served. Please join and have the beauties for services. Get the services, do the services. That is the main core thought of this universal energy. So this is the invitation to join as UC, Universal Council, or Universal Council support. Uh, the background information about the Universal Council can be found in the UC Charter and the UC Mandate on the homepage of UC. The decision to join will be made by your soul. This is very important. Your soul, your free will. Come to it, feel it, join it. Join through your soul. Sign the peace treaty. Be at peace. This is so lovely. Anyone can do that. Universal Council members can join the open language positions. Council support members can join any chosen languages. Apply by filling in the form at the bottom of this page. Dear Rick, can you open the link? Open the link. As I am saying it again and again, I will say it forever, always. Please join and see the application in the link. Well, it's opening. It will be take some seconds. This is a wonderful thing in the world, in the universe is happening in this point of transition, in this point of love. And we can say ascension is happening, elevation is happening. This is the Universal Council page, and you can see through all these beautiful words written, and down below you can see, you can learn the pillars, how the pillars work, vertical, and this is yes, you can go through all the page, all through these beauties. This is the application. Dear ones, please fill it with your heart and soul and just post it. In the balance, it's coming through. You all will get the answer. And in like bunch of flowers, you know, with your in your hands. So this is so beautiful. And I will read I will also read, because as we said, the Universal Council Charter, the Soul Charter, I will read some excerpts from the Universal Council Charter so that you can understand the level to be with. So Rick, can you go to the next page? Thank you, Rick. Can you go to the next page?
I don't think it's there, Sveta.
It's
today.
okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So then I will say that please join, and in love, I am welcoming you again with heart and soul. We all are welcoming. Salam, namaste, salute, welcome, welcome, my dear ones, to this one nation, one planet, one race in the Universal Council, as a Universal Council, in the Universal Support, as a Universal Supporter. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. If there's any question or any interaction anybody wants, any soul wants to do, please do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Derek.
Okay, thank you, Sweta. And remind the attendees they can raise their virtual hands if they have a question or something they'd like to say.
This is Marie again. This page contains all the emails to the Universal Council members existing. And if you have a language that is not on this list, then there's a free position in the Universal Council for your soul to choose. And it's our documents, the UC Charter and the UC Mandate, and the Earth Council Constitution, and the Peace Roadmap. Thank you. And I think you can go to the next slide, please. You can move, yeah, okay. To this soul teaching, yeah. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, good evening and good morning, like Mr. Keshe, wherever you are. I'm just going to talk again about the Mojang teaching, because as I said last time, I've been asked from some member of the Universal Council to share this experience. that I had in the Mojang project three years ago, I think, roughly. The time goes really fast. So we started to share I started to share the experience last week, last Tuesday, and the reason I agreed to tell about this experience, first of all, because also was one of the wish of Mr. Keshe that as soon we finish the Mojang, we should share the experience we had with many people we had, and also because yes, one of our main objective, I mean, definitely is sharing knowledge. So whatever experience I had, I definitely would like to share with as many people as I can. So I don't know if you have a question about last time. For who was not here last Tuesday, I just maybe just recap very quickly what I said last week, and was basically what I said last week. I said that mainly the Mojang project was the first human in space, and Mr. Keshe wanted to find 4 normal people, so no scientists, no doctors, just to prove that if these 4 people could do what the project was meant to do, then there was like a proof that everyone can do it. So the main things happen in the Mojang project was that we started the soul teaching. That was very good I don't know if you call it turning point, but very good point, because in the Mojang project we didn't use any guns. We could use them, but Mr. Keshe was very clear that he wants us to teach, start to teach the soul teaching, the soul. So teach us about the soul. So, and because we have guns inside us, we're made of guns. So he said to us that he will teach us the soul teaching, and for the soul teaching we didn't need to use any reactor or any guns. And as I said last time, we had in this university in Ghana, we had 2 rooms, one for the theory, one for the soul teaching, and one for the practical. So, and in the practical, we had Armen, Alex, and other good teacher that could taught us about the reactor. And then we had Mr. Keshe in the other room with nothing, just a click, just you know, the board in the wall where you're writing, and the desk where he was taught us about the soul. So so basically it was a very learning experience, because first of all, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but no one of us had the paper and pen. We didn't have notebooks, we did nothing. And as I explained last week, we were meeting up every day in the university and study with Mr. Keshe 10 to 5 every day. And then we would have also spend time with him in the evening. And of course, we would have more teaching. And as I explained last week, we at the beginning, we had a little bit of headaches. We didn't know what, we didn't know if we were good enough for this project. All the doubts, all the insecurity, and try to do the best. A lot of talking, and towards the very end of the project, towards the middle and the end, things start to make sense like a puzzle. Things start to kind of make a little bit more sense. So as Mr. Keshe said many times, sometimes you don't need to understand everything, but if you comprehend, and it's good. I think because he wants us. One thing he told us many times: do not worry if you not understand everything. I'm teaching to your soul, so trust that one day things will make more sense. And in fact, as the time was going through, we start to relax more. We start to assume maybe connect more because we start to get to know each other more. We that become our reality, and somehow it's like if we were making it build. Now looking back, it's much easier to. So it's very good to have a stopped and look back and reflect what happened. So if I look back, it felt like without knowing, we were creating a condition to make things happen. So matter of fact, as the time was go by, and we were more relaxed, we just start to kind of follow the teaching, trusting the teaching of Mr. Keshe, and also put in practice what he was telling to us. And so at the beginning of the Mojang teaching, as you know, because we done the public teaching afterwards, we start to learn about the soul, where the soul is, how you can connect to the soul. And even those, this maybe happened to you as well, that even those you know the theory or you comprehend the theory, doesn't mean you always are able to do it or to achieve what you wanted to do. But you trust the process. And as Mr. Keshe said, one day things will make more sense. So he was recommend us to be more connected, don't talk as much, really start to focus on the feelings. I really try to make short, 3 months. The most important was to have a clear vision, have one wish, like I said the last week. So if you had one wish, which would be your wish? And so we all end up to have this one wish of world peace. Start to really feel one of the exercise we were doing. I think I mentioned this as well last week, where we Mr. Keshe make us be in a circle, and then we're supposed to in second understand, know what other person was feeling. If you had a few more minutes to think of, you're already out of the picture. You have to really be connected with your first sensation or feelings. The moment you think, you're already in the matter state. So these and many other things were things we try to practice after each class we had with Mr. Keshe. Try to do our best. Sometimes we were don't know if we were doing the right things or the wrong things, but we were just, as you said, connecting and get to know each other. And towards the end, to me, this my impression again of the experience. To me, was like if we were creating another dimension, like if what we were doing there, because we were always spending time together, we were away from our normal life, see the teaching every day 10 to 5, so we were really immersed in the space knowledge. Keshe was teaching us every day how the soul work and how the space, how you should travel into space and how you should make a spacecraft at the soul level. Give us all this knowledge, and that slowly become our reality. And I really felt like in the air was different. Something in the air was different. I remember I was feeling these electric things, but I don't know if I was imagining or not, and things were a little bit different. Things start to happen, like and I don't know if I was making up or was real or not real, but every time we were practicing, even in between us, we start to get less tired, sleep less. Um, we were still eating, even though we were not hungry. It's just like a habit eating, because even though we were not hungry, but because we had really good person who was a very good chef, so we were still eating, but we were definitely less hungry as well. So, and things start to, when we're getting together in the evening, things start to be different somehow. Like I start to see more things much easier. Like I tell you about what happened one day. So Mr. Keshe was talking about how the soul, when you're in control of your soul, we should, if someone cut your arm, you should be able to regrow it. Or we were talking about shape shifting, like your soul can change the color of your eyes or hair or change color of the skin. That should be normal when we are directing our life from the soul, and through the soul we can change the physical soul. So and this is like at the beginning, maybe it's like going to the gym at the beginning. Maybe it would be not at simple, but that slowly should be very, very easy, like a chameleon. We should be all the chameleons. So, and you're gonna be able to, for example, you make example when you go into different room. For example, you should change in correlation to the environment you want to go in. So you could go under the water. So many things we should be able to do simpler and easier if we conduct our life from the soul. So strangely enough, every teaching that Mr. Keshe was doing in the morning, then in the evening when we were practice, we things were happening in relation to that. This is what happened to me as my own experience. So so I told you last time when me and another Mojang, we were walking in Africa, in Ghana, and then suddenly I just had these things where I thought I understood everything. It was just like a sudden thought, And even now, I don't remember what I cannot tell you even what I didn't understand, but I just remember having the feelings in that moment that everything makes sense. And then when that happened, a few minutes later, what I remember, and I don't do this ever, but I left my hands in front of me, and the hands were blue, and my arms were blue. More and thank you for last week. You wrote down morphs, so now I remember. So like the color of the morphs, the little people with the white hat and the mushroom house. Definitely that intensity of a color. So at the beginning, I thought this is not possible. It's like even when things happen to you, you just do not believe in it. Even when a miracle happens in front of you, you just in denial sometimes. You just don't see it. So I was looking for excuse to understand what happened to my arms because the color was quite intense. So I thought I put it in my painting and the painting, or I just couldn't find an explanation to it. And luckily I was not on my own. So another Mojang was with me, and he could see that. Otherwise, I would thought I imagined it. I'm questioning my what I saw. I would not believe in it at all. And the next day, when we saw Mr. Keshe, we asked him what happened there. And I remember the only things he said, because Mr. Keshe doesn't talk much. So you said what happened. He would tell you something in relation to it. But doesn't mean you will have all the answer. So I remember he said to us, what did you thought just before that happened? And I said, I had this moment where I thought I understood everything, but then the moment went and I still don't remember what I understood. And he said that somehow I must have changed the filter of the brain, because if you remember the soul teaching, he will explain the soul inside the brain, and you will explain that the brain is like a lampshade. So if you imagine the lamp is the soul, and the brain is the lampshade. So it's the container, the filter inside the container. And this is a filter, and this filter, they filter in the rays of the field strands as they come. This is how remember. So as they come into the brain, and brain is like a filter at a certain specific time and point. It's where then you materialize certain part of the body, and it's where the body get materialized as a physical soul. So somehow I must have altered the filter of the lampshade. So it's like if you make extra or less something thinner lampshade, and you have more of the light of the lamp coming out. So you got more of the soul coming out, and that it's what altered the color of my skin. So he explained, if I remember correctly, because we didn't take any notes ever, that the one of the layer was altered, was take off, if I remember well, and then that's why we're blue in space. We're blue. So this is he explained just this. Didn't go more into, no more, no less. The ironic things was that, as I said, things were happening, strange things were happening more often, more frequently, towards the middle and the end of the training, when also we give up of trying, or we give up of worrying, because sometimes you worry that you want to do the right things, and So, and sometimes you try too hard, or you're thinking too much. And these are all things who bring you a little bit away if you want to go close to your soul. And so I'm learning. I'm not saying I found this. Yeah, I'm learning still. You know, actually a lot. So, but I just talk about through my experience what happened. So I came up to this point last week, telling this story. Is anyone has question about that, or shall I continue? And then we got the question at the end. So I just wait a few minutes to see if Rick see any question now, or maybe I just continues and then we can have question at the end. But this,
I don't see any questions, but I hear Azar there. She has something to say.
Good morning, Estefania.
Hey, sorry, I had low volume. Azar, is you?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me properly, by the way?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you. I have one question for you. What was your overall intake about having a direct communication with your soul? What did you gather in your experience, and what you are now doing, implementing in your life as your life now?
Okay, the strange things about it that everything is as the same. Like what I understood is, ironically, the more you look for your soul, and somehow the more you don't find. Is it's like really it was like a process of letting go and stop trying, and start to have a full trust in the process, not to worry if you don't comprehend. And it was it's like we were creating condition without knowing, even though Mr. Keshe, this was teaching us. He was teaching us that if you want to materialize anything, you have to create condition. This is how the universe works. But we now know we were creating conditions. So the only things I could say was that was our beliefs was the main factors. So the only difference that I can say from there and now, that because there we were just has 24 hours every day, and we were away from the normal life. So that become what was actually our life, and what our life was, it become far away, like no more our life. So slowly, because that became our reality, and we were listen Mr. Keshe every day talking about how the universe works, how the soul works, and every day we're talking between us, and then we were trying to connect between us. So this we were doing these 24 hours a day every day. Then also bring the importance of what Mr. Keshe said, like you have to be in a servant position, you have to be humbled. You know, we were talking about all these things that he talks with you every Thursday, no? But somehow there, because it was done every day, all the time, somehow, and we were then we couldn't talk about anything anymore between us. So we start to be more connecting. So like, for example, now, the Universal Council, it's becoming one soul. So that means that we are connecting more and more and more. That is our intention. So we make clear our intention. you make clear your wish, you work on your conduct, worked on your behavior. But as this become your life, naturally, all these come into places. And as I said, things will start happening without us doing much. Upset the things I just told you, connecting, thinking about the wish, the things we're doing, for example, now every time within every Tuesday where we talk about the wish, the 5 pillar, or every Thursday. So we were all on that kind of frame of thinking that things in our mind become normal and real. And somehow I think it's where you're creating condition, where you're creating condition, you allow. And I really do believe that. I don't know if it's just an imagination, but I really believe that somehow we build up like another dimension. And then that one was becoming home. And we were going back to that place. And that's where things start to happen. So at the beginning, if I think about your question, Azar, about the soul, at the beginning, we try to understand what the soul was, try to find different exercise, to interpret Keshe in Mr. Keshe in many ways, because as I said, we didn't take any notes, so we were trying to really recap everything he was said to us. But the more effort you put, the more thinking you put, or the frustration, this just take you far away. And as I said, it was the moment when we started giving up and be more relaxed and just listen the teaching. It's when slowly the teaching itself compound together in your mind, and then somehow that become your reality and things start to happen. This, I don't know if this is a simple way, but I cannot even tell what we did or how we did it. I just know that the moment we start to talk less, the moment we start to just being there and just listen, follow the flow of the teaching, things start to happen, and happen in such a way that when I step out from the Mojang and I go back to my normal life, for me it was very, very difficult to integrate back to whatever, I couldn't go to work, I couldn't function much afterwards, because I miss it so much. That state that we were into when we were in the Mojang at the very late state. It was like another atmosphere. Somehow this feel too materials sometimes. But now I think already actually now, where we are right now in this more present time, it reminds me a lot of the Mojang. So I think right now we are creating another dimension as we speak, because now I'm ready for a while, I start to feel something different, and you remind me a lot of the Mojang. And I think this lockdown was a little bit like the Mojang. So I think we're doing a Mojang on a big scale, like I said last time. So I already think things start to changing. So we're already creating another dimension already, as if it's not already created already. But because there's another things of the Mojang where something was created, and slowly you just realize something was different, something was, I don't know, like now. So like the blue hand, and then another things happen. I remember, did I answer your question, Azar, or not?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Did
The only thing I don't understand,
Yeah.
when you say condition, what do you mean by condition?
It's like it's the nature of what you're doing every day. I think it's simple as that. So every day we were really committed. We felt the responsibility because we were part of this project, so definitely don't want to let anyone down. And so we were committed to make this right. So we were giving our best. So I think creating condition, every choice you make can be the simplest one, like Mr. Keshe said one day, can be the simple things where you think, okay, I got this choice today, if go right or go left. You can ask yourself which is road your soul serve more. If you serve in yourself only, every choice you make, if you serve in yourself and nobody else, or if you do something for you and others. So simple choice like this you make daily life already, you're creating condition for things to happen in a certain ways. And then I don't know, the fact that we were away from our normal house. I was not going to work 9 to 5, like a little bit now in the lockdown we had, so you spend a lot of time where you listen. That's why, like now, Mr. Keshe said to us, going back to the teaching, listen to the teaching. So we're spending every day listening to Mr. Keshe teaching, talk about how the space works, talk about the soul. So that's creating condition, because you spend your time in your day not doing the normal life that you had before and support that everything that I was like before, but suddenly you break the repetition or the habit, and suddenly we were not working 9 to 5, we were listening to Mr. Keshe 9 to 5 and be our 24/7. So it's again, you break the habit of every normal life I had before, and I now spend my day on something, on a new things that is not like before. So in this way, you're creating condition for new things to happen. You start to think out the box, like Mr. Keshe said last Thursday, with now the new teaching of the new cups. We're gonna start to think out the box, like you never thought before, and things you never seen will happen. So you definitely, you realizing maybe that you can choose if be the creator or be just part of the creator, no, or be like a victim thinking, like a society, the past society where we were before, no, where you're a victim, someone bigger than you is decided for you. Now there is someone directing your life. No, now you are in charge, now you are responsible, now you got a white paper and you can draw you what you want in this paper. Of course, we got, for example, we were in 4, so we were co-creating this something together. So, but definitely because we were in a different environment, that's what I mean, creating condition. You break the old way and introduce the new way in your every daily action life. Yeah, do you understand what I mean, creating condition?
Yes, I understood. Kind of like you break the habit of being yourself, and you just allow your soul to shine out, because I think there is a veil between the physical soul and the soul, and some of us, the veil is much thinner, and some of us has a much thicker veil. And then when you when we constantly are thinking according to our habits, and we don't allow, not only we don't see what is in front of us, we just don't allow things is supposed to happen by itself. Like imagine if you're sitting and watching a scenery like a geese or ducks, and then if you're thinking, you don't see the beauty of the ducks or the geese, but then the minute you stop thinking, you see the full-blown beauty. So this is the whole thing, is we don't, because the minute we try so hard, actually we kind of interfere with the process, I think. That's what I understood from your explanation. And thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that. Yes, it's like when you stop trying, stop thinking, stop somehow you see the bigger picture. This is it. You don't see the maybe you don't. That's why I think, Mr. Keshe, you have to understand the totality. Of course, it's again all my interpretation, because I'm learning as much as you. So I think what I found for me was life-changing, the Mojang, because I felt like I never felt before, see things I never see before. So it will always stays. It mark my life, and I remember at one point in the Mojang where I thought, this is the reality. This is the real. This is the real things. Is the rest of this illusion? Somehow I make and this switch where I really felt really real what we were doing, and the everyday life. It seems like that just feel like kind of illusion or something that was not quite right anymore. But definitely, my point was that you do need to. You cannot sustain your daily routine and pretend the world is going to change. So the change comes when you bring forward what you're doing every day. You do your best, but you start to build something completely different that goes online with your wish, with your. So I think it's there when, last Thursday, Mr. Keshe said, now is important where your action, your intention, your feelings, they have to be the same. So that's why we talk so much about the 5 pillars in the Universal Council, because now is the time where by balance the book, by going with your intention, thought and action all together is where you make things happening, again creating condition. So again, there we were together, talking every day, doing our best at the physical level, and then intention was there, and then feelings were there. No, so we had all these 3 in line somehow, because things started happening. I remember one day, Mr. Keshe, he talked about how we do not supposed to leave the body behind. Our soul not supposed to leave our physical body behind. We should take everything with us. And he explained how the body should materialize, and you become like a ball of light and go into space, and then come back, materialize again. So like if you go a scale of, so one part of the scale is the or line, one part of the line is the matter state, and then on the other side, let's say 1 to 10, no? I don't know how I'll make a scale or a line with tick. I don't know how to say it, but in one point you got the matter state, the other point you got the soul state, and you should be able to go backwards and forward in this line. So we should, he said to us, you should be able to go into the bathroom. We were in a hotel. He said you should be able to enter the hotel toilet, go into space, come back, and go out to the toilet and go shopping, you know, have the two at the same time. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can have the best of both. This, if we learn to work from the soul and directing our life from the soul, and it is the soul who make the body, the physical body. So from the soul, you can have quicker, faster change, be like a chameleon. So that night, when we went practice, and Mr. Keshe was said to us to go to also sit in a star formation. He said also was not the case, that there was one woman and 3 men. So I remember another time, I remember my experience. I start to see the Mojang, you know, one arm get transparent and the other arm, then the head. I could see, you know, I don't know if it was my eyes making tricks, but clearly I could see the body, the mouth disappear, the nose disappear, the eyes become one, the body going inside the head and come out. I could see this game of the body get transparent and be sucked into the brain. And then I could see, and I don't know if it was me making it, or I don't know, but the reality was that these things were happening more often, more frequently, and more clear as well, and more fast towards the end. So, and I think this is what will happen to us. This is my assumption of what will happen to us now in this transition that is already started, where things will happen more easier, more clear, more fast, and without us, you know, just trusting the process and have and gain knowledge on the universe, how the universe work. All these things will really come into suddenly and more often, much easier and more clear. This is my, and suddenly you will realize that the change is very, very clear. Until I remember me even walking and thinking the floor was going away out of our feet. That's why I think it was like if we build another dimension between us, and in this place things were happening. And then another time, Mr. Keshe taught us about the spacecraft, that you can make spacecraft with physical spacecraft, or you can make a spacecraft with the soul, as he taught us many times in the public teacher as well. And you can make the spacecraft between 4 people as well. So not for case we were in 4. And he recommended us, it said to us one day, okay, tomorrow you have to fly. And what happened was that, so we had all this lecture about how you can make a spacecraft with the soul, or between people. And again, because we were not taking notes, I cannot tell you step by step the lecture. The only things I remember, he said to us, stay away from the window when you practice. Go into star formation. And he suggests wants to me to be at the top. So we were a different level. You have to be sitting in different level, and you have to have space under your chair. So you cannot be sit straight into the floor. This actually was one of the last days. And by then we did most of the soul teaching. He also went into the breathing exercise. But the funny things was sometimes he will say to us, no need to practice, because when you have the full trust and the full, when you're ready to let go everything, only then you will have everything. So the moment you are ready to give up everything, in that moment you will have everything. No fear of. It's like people who, for example, he said people who committing suicide. They are kind of in a position where, when you reach that point of take off your life, you reach the point literally that you are pretty much in the point where you are ready to give up everything. So not that I want anyone to take off their life, but you have to be like, you have to not have a fear of dying, no fear of dying. And he, for joke, many time he said, I'm like a midwife, where I will help you to. It's like if you want to make us understand that you kind of is not death, it's actually a birth into new in another dimension or another life, or so. And he would kind of give us support to make that step. And he also said that once you do the step with no fear, that is the best condition, because if you got fear, you done once, maybe you will not be able to do it again. But if you got full trust and no fear, then when reach the time that you have to have the full trust of the universe, and there is a moment where there is this step where you're gonna make this step, go into this other dimension. If you got no fear, then it would be easy to repeat until it become daily practice, and will be not something that you will have difficulties to do, but actually you will be daily, where you're going to the soul and come back physical. You just matter of doing the first step. Yeah. So basically, he taught us that tomorrow we will have to fly. So he gave us all the direction and how to do it. And I remember that evening, we this was one of the last evenings. So by now we had a lot of different experiences that become really reality for us. So we were quiet in the room, just very late at night, because by then we're going to bed very late, wake up very early, never been tired. So we were already in a different, little bit like we were in the Congress. I don't know if you noticed in the Congress, when we got all together, we got this same kind of feelings, where we all together, we sharing, I don't know, I think even in the Congress, we're creating condition for things to happen, because there, I don't know if you remember, whoever been to a Congress of the Keshe Foundation, you usually sleep very little, and you got lots of energy, you're not much hungry, there is these vibes going on. So that was happening the same in the Mojang. And I remember that we were quiet, star formation. I was at the top, so I was on the table, and they were in different chairs, different heights, and I was on the highest. I was on the table, and was like, I remember me start to feeling with the very difficult things. We were quiet, try not to think about anything, and just be connected. I don't really know how or what. I cannot even put into words how everything happened, but I just remember some of us had to make strange noise. And then I remember my heartbeat just changing. I remember I strange enough, a few days before, I had this horrible experience about this animal being slaughtered under my window. And I remember me have this feeling of having enough of the way the world was now. I really thought it was so unnecessary. The suffering was so unnecessary, and I have this bird screaming. So I really was seeking at the time of, I remember me really seeking this peace, this not violence, this. And another things I noticed towards the end, for me, was very difficult to think anything bad, dream anything bad, because, sometimes, when you have sometimes bad dreams, or sometimes you go I don't know, something that it could be not nice. But I remember towards the end, that's why I said to you, I think we created condition already. I could not think anything bad. I had this think, I don't know, this it's like if you can just think it's only good. So, and I remember towards the end, I had this really feelings of I know it's a conditional love, but this is really what the state I was into, because I had enough of the killing, especially here, these animals screaming under my bedroom, happened weeks before. And so I was really in a state where I really just want to have this peace, this love, I had enough. I just want to have non-necessity of anyway. So I remember my heart, or even like the first way you fall in love, like this. And I remember my heartbeat was the first things changing. This is what I remember. The heartbeat changing was like an engine that's just turned on. And then I remember this, I started to feel this air, like a current of air, of energy coming from the bottom and going up. And then I remember my body get very, very light. My feet start to lifting, my arm lifting. And then I remember suddenly, it's like if I lift. So I lift from the table, and then I went sideways, and then fall down in the table again, then lift again from the table. At this point, I was very, very light. My leg was floating. Only my sitting bones were on the table. And then again, lift sideways down, lift sideways down. And at the same time, I remember this energy that starts coming from underneath and going up. And my head starts spinning like never, like it was out of control, spinning really, really fast. It nearly looked like I was possessed. So my head started rotating super fast. And then my body started rotating super fast. And I was not me doing it. I don't know what was happening. And then the beat changing. And then I remember me come to a point where I had to let go completely. And that is where I scared. I was really scared, and I block everything. Like I just want to everything stop and go back to control, And I remember, suddenly really try to stop everything. And of course, as of doing that, things were stopping until I stopped to spinning. But I was spinning so fast, so it was a little bit like we didn't know what happened. No one had idea. And then the next day we went to Mr. Keshe. We told him what happened. He said, "Did you fly?" I said, "No." And we tell him what happened, that this strange noise were happening with the back of the throat. And we start between us, and from the back of the throat, this noise was happening. And then we thought about me getting lighter and rotating like I don't know how to call it in English, but it's the things you put on the floor and it's rotate, spinning you have a rope where you make it go fast, and this thing's round spinning on the table, and when it's spinning fast, it's straight, and then as they lose energy, it starts to tilt it. My body was tilting 45 degrees each side and really spinning. And so Mr. Keshe, what he said is because you had fear, you start tilting your body. So the force was coming from underneath. Instead to let it go out of the head, you let it go out from the sides of the body, because you had fear. But if you would have stayed straight, like in yoga, when you do meditation, they have to be very straight. If my back was straight, this force would have come out of the head. He didn't say what would have happened next. I just remember that before, when he was explaining the evening before, he was explaining that one of us would have a lift and make the spacecraft, and the three will make the reactors. So I remember this way. So I don't even remember if I remember correctly. This is the way I remember he's explaining it. So I don't know if maybe I supposed to be the one who lived, But anyway, my learning experience from this, because I was very, very disappointed the following days, me to have stopped the whole process, because I don't know what would have next if I don't have stopped it. So I was very, very disappointed with myself, thinking I was, useless, but one thing I learned from that experience was that you have to have the full trust. You have to have the full trust, because things will happening, and will happening you without knowing, suddenly, much easier than you think. Much easier than you think. Maybe these things are already happening now. I noticed already that since the coronavirus, the pandemic, this, whatever we've been doing together, we intensified our connection between the Keshe Foundation through, the emergency chat, through, we've been trying to give as much as we can to help others who are in difficulties. So already we are connecting, we're creating conditions more than ever. And the teacher are intensified, like we had in the Mojang, if you know, even more intensified. We're going beyond the Mojang, and so things will happening, and so it will a point where your trust. It will come to a point where you'll be faced to yourself if you're faking it or if you're for real, because there is not shortcut, and there is not you cannot fake this. So when the time is come, you will be faced with your level of understanding, exactly like Mr. Keshe said last week. What's stopping you is your level of understanding, nothing else. Because obviously I didn't have the full trust. I had fear. So my level of understanding was not quite there. And somehow, even though the things were happening, like my hands were blue, and I didn't believe it, and my arms were blue. So again, is your level of understanding that it make you give you the limit how far you can go. That is my learning, and that is the trust, because the trust is connected with your knowledge, with your knowledge, with whatever you learn, whatever you did, whatever you experience. So if you're still attached to your life, you're still attached to everything you have, and the moment you have to let go of everything, we will do not. So that's where it was my biggest learn experience, was that failure. That failure was my bigger learning experience, because I'm always wonder if I had full trust, what would ever happen next. But I always was so grateful, really like life-changing for me, because now I understand. I think sometime somewhere Mr. Keshe said that the dreams is your soul without your physical body. And that it looks like we were like in the dreams at certain points when certain things were happening. And I've feelings this will happen, where the dreams and the reality become the same. I think that was pretty much what felt a little bit, where you couldn't tell if it was a dream or if it was a reality. That's why I said to you, I couldn't tell. So if no one was present, I would say I just imagined that. Because really there was that fine line between dream and reality was like gone. That's why I'm said to you, was like we're like a portal. We make like if I have to have, I don't know what a portal is, but if I have to have a description of a portal or description of making another dimension, for me the Mojang was a little bit like that, because you just couldn't tell anymore if it was dream or reality, and some things look like a dream, and then the dream become reality because it happens so frequently that actually that become the reality. So I think this is what we are right now, exactly where we are right now, where we don't know if it's a dream or reality what's happening around us. And with the new teaching of Mr. Keshe, especially now with the matter state and inertia of the last couple of weeks, it's like we creating, I don't know if it's a portal or another dimension. I don't know how to call it, but it's something that I would, that would be my definition, of portal or bringing another, of creating another dimension. It's exactly what we are doing right now, where you cannot tell anymore what is real and what is not, in those terms. When for example, now with the guns, he said, don't focus anymore on the guns as the guns, but start to notice the feelings. It'll be like when we're in emotion. He said to us, start to notice the feelings, because you got guns inside you, so you are a reactor. So we were really replicate a bigger emotion, I think. And we are so many of us. So we were just in 4. And now I don't know how many, hundreds of knowledge seekers all over the world. So that's why, we're making the change as we speak. So that's why I think it's very, very important to really work on yourself, because when the time is come, you have to have the trust, because we co-creating at the moment. We all together, we're co-creating. So this is my understanding, we're creating conditions for creating new life, new way. But this is already happening now. It's just one day you will switch, you will realize we've already done it. So is anyone has any question?
Yes, there are some questions. Barbara asks in the YouTube, this sounds like astral projection or astral travel or an out-of-body experience. Is this the same?
And my problem is I never done astral projection, I never done astral travel, so I will not be able to answer that. I just can say that things were happening very often, and we didn't, took anything, we didn't use anything, we were just 4 of us.
But you were more or less in your body though, right, Stefania? You were, or did you have some out-of-body experiences as well?
Yeah, like as I said, you're right to the point. I mean, I always my thought always was in my body. I never thought I was out of my body. But what happening was that things start to happening. Like I could see these fogs come out, people heads, things. That I thought was plasma. Or remember one time I could feel this barrier, like you know when they call this plasma barrier. I could touch actually these fogs. Was like something you can actually see, and you could feel you were entering a place with these fogs, this like mist. You know, everything was more visible, or everything was more happening natural. Like I remember one of the motion, one arm become transparent, then the other arm. Then I could see through his body the sofa on the other side. You know, so I to me, you know, it was real. You know, I just don't know if I was imagining. You know, we were in four, so I was on my own, but we all had also different experience between us. So everyone maybe saw lights. You know, we have each one of us was also experiencing things differently, and certain things we were experiencing together. So I just don't know to put a finger on it on description what really was, but you know, it was not the same that my normal life I had before. And when I left the Mojang and I go back in my normal life, I never saw those things again as well. Up to now. Now, I start to have certain things that remind me of the Mojang. But again, I don't know. I like, you know, like I said to you, with these electric fields in the air. For example, I was feeling these electric fields in the air. I was actually told to Keshe many times, but he was not replying to me. So sometimes I thought, okay, I'm mad. I'm just imagining it, no. But then when I walked into a health unit, months later after the Mojang, I went to see one of the Mojang, and he had a health unit in the house, and I stepped into to try. The first things when I stepped into the health unit, I remember me thinking, it's like when I was in the Mojang. It's like felt like again being in the environment of the Mojang. You know. So I don't know. It just mean we were then, you know. So all these were just feelings. I'm talking about feelings that compare. So I cannot answer this, Barbara. Yeah, don't know.
Okay.
I was different from normal.
I think that was a good answer. A couple of other quick questions, and maybe we can hear from our special guest that's come in, Mr. Keshe, here as well. Jefferson asks, I think we know the answer to this because you said you didn't use any GANs, but he says, Stefania, during your Mojang course, had you used some kind of helmet with GANs for sleeping? Thank you.
Nothing. Yeah.
You already have a helmet of
Yeah,
GANs
exactly. We
on
had
your
everything
neck.
it was. Yeah, my head. My head
Yeah.
was the helmet. Was my helmet.
Yes. So Ike asks, did you think about having a camera set up before you started?
It was really funny because at one point, Mr. Keshe said, we should have recorded some lecture, and I just don't remember. Maybe the camera. I don't know. But we never end up to record. So.
And
Yeah.
you said you didn't even bring notepads or take notes or anything. So it's kind of you just use your own recording apparatus that was your soul basically to record.
Yeah, this is it. We just find ourselves with nothing. No one brought anything because we were not really perfect student. I just had guns only once for a friend of mine who had the cancer. That's it. I just had previous of that, and even the other motion were not at all good student of the sector. We didn't do much practical, all of us. And for some reason, we didn't brought any book notes. And I remember at the beginning a lot of headaches because we were trying to understand. And then, as I said, and towards the end, we kind of give up on trying, and things make more sense then. Yeah, but no notebook, not. But you see, now what I remember, I just remember very well. I cannot tell you step by step what Mr. Keshe taught us. I can say that he taught to you afterwards on the soul teaching, so you have the same teaching that we had. But certain things, they are like a mark that I will never forget. So, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
Stefan,
please.
you said your head was spinning or your body was spinning even faster, and I thought of the Sufis spinning, but you weren't literally spinning in the matter state. You were just sort of feeling you were spinning. I mean, your head wasn't going around like an owl 360 degrees.
I was spinning. I was physically spinning.
Okay.
My head was spinning really fast. My body was spinning. Everything was super spinning. It was not me doing it, for sure.
I thought you were experiencing that like in a dream or a semi-hypnotic state. You were physically spinning.
I just don't know. We weren't four, so the only things I can say, we weren't four. I was not my own. So what they see, I see, and I was spinning. Then I cannot put my finger. I cannot define anything. I just can tell you what it felt for, what I experienced, and spinning was physical. I mean, to me, it looked like if it was physical. So my head was spinning, my body was spinning, everyone was looking at me spinning. And, it's how I get scared.
Well, I'm wondering if Mr. Keshe can add some insight to what was said. Or perhaps the timing's not right now.
I just remember the next day, it didn't go into, even the next day, it didn't go into. So a lot of things that were happening when the next day we tell to Mr. Keshe. So he doesn't explain everything all the time. So step by step. So he just said to us that the only things I remember, he said, because you had fear, if you would just be straight, it would come out of your head, this force. But he didn't say what would happen next, So I just said you had fear, and then so you by tilting, you allow the force come out, not out of your head, you let it come out of your body. This was the only explanation he said. So, and that for me was the big learning point. And I just, I sharing this experience because, as I said, one person in the Universal Council asked me, she thought it was useful. I didn't know if I mean, I just did because as we said, we have to spread knowledge, we have to spread our experience. I don't know if this is useful for you or not, but I'm happy to share it. And but what I learned as well, for example, from the teaching of last week, really thinking out the box, and have a full trust and unconditional giving. I mean, I'm still learning for sure, and yeah, so we're all learning, and I hope what I said it now, it help you somehow. They definitely helped me, this experience, that everything is possible, that you know, I remember me thinking, oh my god, all these things I thought were just in the movie actually really happening. This is real. I remember me thinking, this is real, this is real, this is universal community is real, you know, like where we kind of forced to think that yes, there are people in the universal community that somehow you see them far, or you see these things, the future. I just remember thinking, no, this is now. This is happening now. This is real. It's not a story. It's not fiction. And then suddenly, the moment I thought, okay, this is not fiction, then what is fiction? Suddenly, the reality was fiction. the life we used to live is fiction. Yeah. If anyone has any question, please do. Otherwise, I'm happy to finish.
Well, thank you, Stefania. You certainly helped me and jog my memory on certain things and so on. I appreciate your insights there. It's very, very good. There's one last question from James. I'm not clear on what he means. He says the Mojang in the Knowledge Seekers workshops are 10 hours long. Is this teaching in them? I don't know if that not clear. Maybe James, if you want to, you can open your microphone there if you want to clarify the question.
Yeah, there is a Mojang section in the public teachings, and there are several of them. I was wondering if the teachings are in there.
I don't know.
Okay.
You mean definitely not me talking for sure. Would be assume would be Mr. Keshe talk about
Hello, I'm not hearing you there, Stefania.
the soul or work.
Stefania, I think now the way I see it, the whole planet is in Mojang. We have to use this. I think we have to use
exactly,
this
opportunity.
We have to use this opportunity, because I don't know, I had the experience like sometimes you walk in, you see the building disappears in front of you. You don't know if you're dissolving, you're coming back. So I have experiences like that. I think the whole planet is in Mojang right now.
Definitely, I think, I mean, this is what I think too. It's my impression as well. Definitely. I think that was a little, I don't know. I think looking back, this is my assumption, was like that was a little taste of what we all can do. Definitely much better what we did. But the point was that everyone, the point I think was of the Mojang that teaching the soul teaching to everyone, because we're all equal and we all are we're made of guns, and we all have this capability. So somehow that's preparing, maybe that one was preparation condition to this. you know, but this is again another assumption. Maybe all the Mr. Keshe teaching are all preparation, a condition for what happen, what's gonna happen next. We're all preparing conditions since Mr. Keshe teaching public. Maybe the Mojang started when Mr. Keshe started teaching to everyone the very first day. Maybe again my assumption.
Stefania, hi, it's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Thanks for your explanation, Stefania. It's been fascinating listening to you. So how did it feel? You said you felt fear, but how did it feel? Did you feel like you had the ability to go from point A to point B into another place? Did you feel anything other than fear that stopped you, that held you back?
The fact is like also the moment you cannot think like we're talking to you now. We cannot do this. It's like it's like the way I can go closer. It explains exactly when Mr. Keshe said recall the feelings of falling in love. I think that is what kick-started. And then what it finished was me try to be back in control. So start to think, start to be thinking, and it's like was a little bit like a jump in the voids. And I just had this fear of this. I didn't know was, you know, so this what it make it stop.
Okay, so what you've described sounds like some of the knowledge has been around for a very long time, like Merkabas and things like this. Would you say it was that sort of experience that you had?
Sorry, say it again. Sorry.
So in many ancient writings and many things, they call it the Merkaba, where you have two triangles inverted against each other and a sphere around the outside of your body. And your soul traveling in physicality as well, I presume. They call it the Merkaba. Would you say it felt like this? Or...
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
No idea. I don't know. I don't know. It was just like as I explain it. The way I explained it was just trust. If you gonna trust, you don't go anywhere. You have to have. You cannot have 99.999% trust. You have to have 100% trust. You cannot have any.
Hello, Stefania. We lost your audio there.
Trust.
After you said you must have trust, you can't
after
have.
The fall, you cannot have 99.999% of trust. You have to have 100%. You cannot have any bits of uncertainty.
So to Stefania, what part of you was uncertain about being able to travel? Did you know what it was that held you back, or was you it was just unintentional? It was just in the moment, and you didn't really you weren't aware of what it was.
The only thing I can say is that things are easier than you think, and so you don't realize they're that easy. And then when you realize that easy, it's like, oh my God, there are these. And then you is that I don't know how to explain it, but the closer I can say it, that's why I say trust. It's like it's like exactly what Mr. Keshe said is it. In my my experience of, for example, of the Mojang or even the Keshe Foundation, and even though sometimes some of the things maybe far, they feel like, you know, futuristic or far away, or they're not far away, they're here now. They're not tomorrow, they're today. So I think that's why there is a lot work that each one of us need to do. I'm the first one. I'm not. I'm still learning now, big time. So it's like there is a lot of work we have to do as individual, as our own daily things, because then when this change coming, you're kind of ready. You just go more. It's like surfing, you know, surfing. So the universe has got these waves of let's say the universe is an ocean and it's got waves, and you're a surfer, so you know that the waves will come. So you just kind of, you have to just kind of be ready to take the wave. The way we come, and you just have to be ready to take the wave as it come, and you know that everything's gonna be fine. Okay, so once you, so that is why you have the full trust. So the moment you maybe yes, maybe no, maybe it's like this, maybe it's not like this, or maybe you don't trust yourself, maybe do, when you go uncertainties, you know, when the wave is come, you will not be able to take the waves. Maybe you have to wait for the next waves, you know. But that is the feelings.
If it's like real surfing, Stefania, it would be where you just have to go with the flow. You go with the flow of the fields of the universe, and like you said, catch the wave and just let it take you. Just be immersed in that beautiful. I don't even know, it would be a feeling. It'd be a thought. It would be that soul travel, that wonderful moment where you release.
But that comes with full trust and full letting go, because it's like if you're dying, like literally, it's like feelings of not in a bad way. It's not done in a bad way. It's like that feelings of completely let go. So for like if you, or maybe let's say you have to jump in a void, or I don't know how to explain. Maybe when you go full trust, it's not even a void anymore. So, but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying is, yeah, that it's what is important. It's important to have this full trust and full letting go. These are the only things I can say.
And that
and full unconditional love. Full unconditional love. And there are no tricks, no shortcut. And if you go not those things in the place, you're not gonna be able to take any waves. It's like it's so precise works, going to millimeter of timing, and or you take it right to the millimeter seconds, or you just missed the waves, and you have to prepare for the next one.
But Stefania, this is going to be for individuals, and then as you said, groups of 4 can do it, and then also I would imagine we're talking on a planetary scale, so the whole planet has the chance to evolve. So many beings, many souls are going to experience this. So these teachings, this beautiful knowledge that you're giving away freely now, is very, very important for many people to understand, comprehend, and realize what you're trying to explain. You're trying to explain the way you felt it, and the way that you, your thoughts, if you had thoughts, whatever it was that you experienced, you're trying very well to explain this to people. But as I said, this will be on a much grander scale throughout humanity. So many people are going to experience this. So it's important that people really listen in a very beautiful way. Thank you, Stefania. It's been wonderful listening to you. Thank you very much.
I just don't want to thank you, but I don't want to take my focus of this is mainly the only reason why I'm sharing this experience for me is actually on the fact that for normal people, no scientists, no scientists, you know, so for normal people, So because we got plasma inside us, we're made of plasma. So it means everyone has got this, everyone can do this. And then the next, I forgot what I want to say, but main things was yes, for normal people. The main reason why I want to share this for normal people, and then also creating condition can be simple choice you make daily life on unconditional giving for the goods of all. So you have to keep going into of a picture of every day. You know if what you do is just for you or if for the benefit of others also. So this is what create condition on simple choices you make every day. Give your best, clear vision. You have to know which is your intention, which is your vision, which is your wish, all these things. And I think the full trust comes with the conditional giving. The more, that's why I think Mr. Keshe said we are here to serve. When you are unconditional giving, like for example, Mr. Keshe is always available for everyone, anytime, any place, is always ready to help, or like many people of you of the foundation, or many people who are listening now, the people who are in real unconditional giving, they got no fears. So it's really connected to that. So I'm sure that the people who give freely have got no fears. So the way, the level you are, or what happened to you at any point, any time, any space, is always reflecting your understanding, how you dealing with life in daily basis, and what everything happening around you is just a mirror of you. So that for me was the bottom line of the Mojang. That's why I want to share this with you, because the bottom line was this. So, and the fact that things are not happening tomorrow, but happening right now, is not future, is now. So, and I'm very, very, very grateful for the last two teaching as well. I mean, as I said, Mr. Keshe changed my life from the moment I met him. And I'm not perfect. I'm learning. Like I make mistake every day. So I don't know nothing. So I'm learning. But definitely, what happened is my mind has opened to new possibility and new way of see life, a new way of enjoy life. So for the first time, I'm learning that life can be joined, don't need to be suffer, and I'm happy to have many people that think like this, and together we can make a difference. And the power that we have inside us is enormous. So I'm just learning all this step by step. So I'm maybe lucky on the fact that I experienced what experience, but I think you, in your own daily life, your daily experience, you had experience same, but sometimes we don't notice, how many miracles happen in front of our eyes, and we just don't notice. Yeah. So these main things I wanted to share. That like Azar said, this is a big Mojang. we're making the change. Is it possible? It's more easy than you think. Just trust yourself, trust the universe, trust your gut's feelings, and just keep going. And of course, talk. Sometime, actually, we start to things start to happen when we stop talking. So I know I have a long way to go, but I think what we're doing, our wish is happening already now. So we have to just trust and just keep going and connecting. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for listening. If anyone has more question, or I leave the talk to anyone who would like to talk.
Yes, we had a question from Powell. Let me get it lined up here. Where is it? Powell asks, did you manage to repeat the same process again?
No, because when I come back, it took me a little bit, but I tried to go back to my normal life because I want to. I didn't work for a while, and then I had to go back because, like Mr. Keshe said, you cannot steal from your own self. So you have to create condition even to be able to give. This is my understanding again. So, and after the Mojang, definitely I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to reflect to about whatever happened, and that was really good. I'm really grateful for the coming out and be able to look back and think what, reflect whatever everything was. It didn't happen every again because I just stepped back to my back life. I'm not, I think I'm always been a little bit a taker than a giver, and so I think being a full giver, when you give unconditionally, it's a gift that I'm working on that. So I think that's why maybe these things never happen again. To be have a conditional love, and I think maybe we meet up as a Mojang in the chat and try to be connected. But again, it goes again with your trust, with your giving, with your unconditional giving. With there are a lot of things that are part of the recipe, and I'm working on improve myself. But it actually, maybe I make a mistake to say no, because I think these things happening now. I think since the pandemic, it's where I start to feel like a little bit back in the motion again. So maybe now is the closest I remember to that. Not at me as a person, but as a global, what's happening in the world as a global, not just me as a person. Because me as a person, I think I got a lot of work to do still. But as global as we are now, it reminds me very much so the Mojang.
do have a question in the YouTube from Ariana, who asks, is this teaching to go out of the body or be in the body while experiencing out of the body? And later she says, oh, is this for guiding others who are leaving the body?
I don't know, because I don't know, because this maybe is a question. Maybe Mr. Keshe can answer. I don't know this question. This answer. I don't think we leave the body. I think we just learn to have the full. It's like if you go a washing machine. It's like if you got a washing machine, someone give you half of the instruction how to use it, and now you got the full instruction how to use your washing machine, something like that. So I don't think you leave the body. I mean, this again, my interpretation. Maybe I'm completely wrong of what I'm saying, but my interpretation is not leaving the body. It's actually comprehend the bigger picture, and just now you have the knowledge to. So it's like if you go in one room, I think this example maybe Mr. Keshe or somebody else done it before, where you got a big house, and up to now they taught you how to use only one room of the house. And suddenly somebody asked to you, no, you don't have only one room. You got the kitchen, you got the living room, you got, I don't know, another room. So you just learn, you got more than one room, and now you can use all the rooms. I see it like this.
Okay, we have someone with their hand up who I will promote to a panelist. Didn't see you there yet, Jalel. And if you have something you want to say, just go ahead.
Hi, Rick. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I think regarding the question, there is two levels of knowledge here. One knowledge, you do not need the soul to leave the body. You can have everything comes to you. And in another part, it's like the bird, what Mr. Keshe speak about, that this bird will learn how to leave his cage and come back to it. So there is two teachings here. I think in the deep space, you need to travel with the soul. In inner space, you do not need to travel because all the information, you just connect to it. So this is my idea.
Thank you, Jalal.
You're welcome.
Estefania, I think one of the things you were saying about just like when we die, like when we the minute I think tomorrow I'm gonna die, you know, you become relaxed about everything, because everything that you think about, it has no meaning anymore. It loses its. I mean, are you going to worry about this and that if you know tomorrow you don't exist? So I think there's two of letting go. In my experience, every time I took a trip to Amazon, I always thought I'm going to go die. And I was up to it. Because since I was 35, I always told God, I'm ready to leave, because I don't want to be here. I just want to leave. So every time I took a trip and I just said, okay, this is I might not even come back. So I was willing even to die to go through the experience, all the stuff I did in Amazon. So that was easy for me. But then there is another letting go is the way I see it is this, like I see this light as if, I mean, this light is become bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just like staying under the sun, laying down under the sun, and then it feels so good. You're melting under it, just getting bigger and bigger. And then it's getting so huge and just takes you so much within it. And then the minute my mind comes in and says, oh my God, this is so amazing, the minute I do it, I lose it. And then I say, okay, don't think, just be. So I'm being, and then the beauty is so much, then my mind has to come out of it. It says, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Then I lose it again. So this is the way I grasp of it, is like you shouldn't utter it, like, you know, it's just feel it without saying anything, just be. Even you can't say be, because the minute the mind comes in and even think something, you know, I lost it. This happened to me. So this part of this one of letting go was always hard for me, because when I see the beauty, I can't shut my mind not to utter it, not to say it's so beautiful, because I get the light, it is coming and coming, it becomes so humongous, and I'm just going with it, and just it's so amazing, and just the mind comes in, so it's so beautiful, then I lose it. So there's these two things differentiation for me, because letting go and dying for me was very easy. Just even I can do it now. I mean, anything I go to my life experience, I just think, okay, I'm gonna die. I just go to it. It's no problem, because at one point I'm gonna leave. I leave right now. But the other one is a little bit harder to not to mind to come and play in it. This was my experience.
Thank you, Azar. Yes, I definitely agree with you. And then, as you were talking, yes, so the moment you think you can lose that state where you are into of feeling, it's like it cannot be in the two at the same time. It is what kind of felt. But also that trust that I didn't have, it comes with unconditional giving. So I think that for me, it's when, you know, we talk about this 5 pillar of conduct. It's like, and this is where I'm working at the moment. I'm not perfect. So it's like, if you are in impeccable conduct and you are truly unconditional giving, that's it. I think then the trust is there automatically, 100%, and you got no fear whatsoever. Because when I mean, the few times, or for example, you know, when you fall in love, you know, and that's why I think Mr. Keshe said many times, look for the sensation when you first fall in love. We have to go back to fall in love with everything, because when you fall in love, it's when you are ready to give up everything for the things you're in love. And that gives the strength attached to it and the trust attached to it, that, you know, you're untouchable, nothing can happen to you. You absolutely no fears. So to me, when someone has got fear, when someone is uncertain, you know, that goes at the same level of not be totally in line with you know, with your intention, action, and feelings. Okay, when those things are in line, automatically you got all the ingredients you need. So that's why I'm said before, whatever happened around you is the reflection at where you are, at your level of understanding, or at your level of behave, or at your level of, you know. This what this was my learning from the experience of one of the learning of the Mojang. Then the other learning was also the union make the force. So somehow we all co-create in that environment. It was not just me, it was a co-creation between Keshe, us, everything, even with the KSSI. And that is what we've been doing since this knowledge has been started to be shared in the Keshe Foundation. You slowly you pile up thin lines of knowledge that become strong like a marble, and you're creating conditions for those things to happen. So there are many things parallel happening at the same time. So you got your work you're doing on yourself on a daily based from a very simple choice, and you know if it's just for you or if for not just for you but also for the goods of all, and that already put you in a position that is different in the universe, that will create different things. And then that unconditional love, unconditional giving, that you pile up from simple choice to bigger choice, you know, you have to do your best. So no one wants you to kill yourself or give everything. Because I remember once I kind of stopped. I used to have work for. I used to have quite good, very good job, and for I don't say big clients, whatever. But then suddenly I didn't want to do this anymore, and suddenly I kind of put to one side, and for I don't want to do that. I just want to do this, but without knowing, I took off myself that income that then make me struggle, and then so you cannot steal for your own self. This is important. So it's not like you have to give everything you got. You have to learn to love yourself unconditionally first, and then only then you're also going to be able to love others. So there is a lot of internal work you have to do, and towards you. First of all, you become towards other, and then you cannot. There are no shortcuts. So if you cannot love others if you didn't learn to love yourself first. And for me, already this is already lifetime learning. You know, just already this learn to love yourself in such a way that you can then love others unconditionally. That already is all itself is already, you know, big things. You know, so there are so many things, so many facets. Each one of us can work in daily life to create condition in such a way that you got no fear, or you got full trust, and you know, everything is fine, and you got good knowledge, and they're all going together. You know, so this I wanted to share as experience from my experience. Yeah, there is so much we can do, and then of course we as meeting up and creating the KSSI and meeting and sharing knowledge one of other. We co-creating also things together. Yeah. I don't know if I understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania. We're getting a lot of wind noise in the background, or something is causing a lot of disturbance. It's hard to hear sometimes with the wind noise. So maybe you have a fan or something going there, or some wind on the microphone, perhaps. Okay, do we have some other questions? Looking at the YouTube, it looks clear there, and live stream. Oh, attendees with hands up. I'm wondering if we can invite Mr. Keshe to come in. Or do you have, does the Universal Council have a further presentation, or how would you like to proceed? Or would you like to continue, Stefania?
This is Marie. We don't have anything more than after the soul teaching with Stefania. So we kind of finished with our presentation. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Stefania, are you finished, or would you like to continue?
Yeah, if no one has any more question and no one want to add anything, we try to keep the teaching to 2 hours, because for the transcribers and you know, so we try to keep us 2 hours. Yeah, so if no one has any more question, I finished to tell my experience. Yeah.
Well,
So if you have any question, please ask.
There's a comment from Ariana in the YouTube, who says, "Thank you, Stefania and Rick. It's time for me to join the Keshe Foundation and receive all the teachings." Okay, so that's good. So you've definitely affected someone today with your talk, Stefania, and definitely more than one person, but just giving that as an example.
And Rick, isn't the Mojang an acronym? Like there's two terms, Mohan and Mojang. One of them, I think, is named after Mr. Keshe's brother, but one of them is a magnetically originated zone for habitation and nutrition, and the other is a man originated, as I understand it. Is there anyone who can clarify something on that line?
I'm not good to clarify this. I don't know if anyone want to clarify the distinction.
Perhaps you could clarify again, Mark, on the two words as you see them.
During the transcribing, there's a page which gives a lot of information of names and different things like that, but they list the Mojang and the Mohan, I think it is. One is and I'm not sure which is exactly which, but it's a man-originated zone for habitation and nutrition, or it's a magnetically originated zone for habitation and nutrition, where the other one is just a man-originated habitation and nutrition. I'm not exactly sure. And why was it made this way and so close sounding? Is one the universal unit? If I stump the panelists, which we can't do because Mr. Keshe is here, do I get a prize, Rick?
Yeah, well, you definitely got some dead air time here to ponder. We would have to look up on the website. I don't remember the magnetically originated zone habitat, but perhaps that's in there somewhere. I'm sure Mr. Keshe could explain better.
Oh, way better.
If he were so present here. He may be busy in the background, I suspect.
The other question that was in the chat, Rick, was somebody said you could, instead of having 3 other people with you, you could have 3 plants and yourself. But or 3 stars and yourself to create this condition. But I was thinking the plants have already made an agreement not to leave the planet. So I don't think their soul would be in agreement with that. Just a side.
What if the plants were potted plants so they could sort of be mobile? They're happy in their environment as long as they have that pot of soil that reminds them of the planet, perhaps. Yeah, well, that's a good question. So the group of 4, that was a question from Hassan. So he says, I assume the group of 4 could be 1 human and 3 vertical people, or 3 stars, for example. So
of course,
I don't know.
Say, why not?
I just remember it was like for doing the star formation. And I just remember Mr. Keshe said that you have to be in different level and one have to be higher of the whole 3. And then just we were supposed to rotate between us. But one thing I remember also that make us do as an exercise that he mentioned last Thursday was about, I remember we were in the restaurant, we put a glass of water in the middle of the table and said, how can you get the water without touching the glass? And we were all staring the glass. Or how can you, I don't remember if you said, how can you move the glass? I can't remember now. But it reminded me what he taught last Thursday, where you have to be humble enough and you have to be you have to say, how can you please the way I understand it, how can you please the glass to, if you know you want to please the glass and so you are put yourself like in a servant position, but the glass is be pleased to see you pleased, so you will know that you need the water, he will give you what you need basically. So that's the way how you can get the water from the essence from the water without touching the water. No, how can you feed yourself, from the fields? So that one, so it's like what he taught yesterday, where the creator make the soul, because this also these things of where the creator, because he give unconditionally, so he create the soul So no, I did come out of my head now, but yeah. So if you are in servant position, you then you can receive. So you have to kind of you know, even when we go to a plant, you go into the plants, you say, how can I serve you? What I can do for you to make you to do anything, you know, to make you feel better, or there is anything I can do for you. And then the plant knows that she will be happy to, if you are happy, and he will give you, you know, what you need. So in this way you receive. I remember this exercise was done in the Mojang. He was make us do it a few times. And that it's a little bit at the beginning was I understand it now more and more, because also if you're one, so you're happy to put yourself available to give whatever the plants need. And anyway, you're receiving because the plants, she gain pleasure on see you better. So this was yeah.
Okay, so sorry,
Rick, sorry, Rick, it's Dean here. Can I quickly say something?
Mm-hmm.
Just like to say that you mentioned something about the wind, and we all know through the teachings that the health pens, when you create that magnetical and gravitational force, that field force, those fields, that when the pen goes over the top of your body, or the part of your body that's got some discomfort, you can feel like a wind, and it's that healing aspect. It's the fields, the interaction, that connection with the universe. And it's the same thing with what Stefania has just explained to everybody, to the world. She's just explained that exact process, just in a larger scale, where she's now affected many field forces by her explanations of the technology. And the wind, that experience of the wind we heard in her speakers and all around her, could quite possibly have been the same connection, that on a larger scale. So she's creating that healing factor around the planet, and the field forces, the beauty of this technology is starting to emanate all across and on a bigger dimensional size on this planet. So every time this knowledge is shared like this, you're going to start to get these beautiful fields building up. And as everybody said, the more you give, the more you receive. And these things, when you get touched by this technology, you understand this. When you're very, very peaceful, I've had it where the times where the emotions running, like we all do, we in our environment, and we become very unsettled. And you see irritations all around you. But when you're very settled, I was in the river the other day, just because it's so hot here at the moment, and I was just led in the river. And when you're very still and very composed, and you're not thinking, you're just at one, even with the river. I noticed all the fishes, the small fishes, were all around me, coming right up close, in a completely different way. And then when you see people splashing around, or it's a different environment, so it unsettles the creatures around you, and other things start to manifest. So when you actually start to become very peaceful inside and emanate those beautiful fields that Stefania has obviously just generated around this planet with what she's just spoken to us about, you were creating those environments of beauty that this technology has explained to us all so beautifully over all this period of time. And whether you've just started, as I said before, on your first day, or it's your you've been involved with it from the very start, you can still have moments where it's beautiful, and other moments where you have to not work at it, but you have to just settle yourself. And it's just it's that fine, beautiful balancing act. And as we all know, with Jalal explained, and it's that inner world. And then if you want to travel by soul, it's a slightly larger scale, environment. And in deep space, yes, you will need to travel by your soul, but in inner space, maybe we can still use our body to travel from point A to point B on this planet and re-manifest ourselves at will. And I know we can do this in other places too. So that's just my quick explanation. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, in regards to the Mojang, Eva sent a message that I believe is from the book #1, saying that this method of travel using plasmatic magravs protection for motion for the future space systems is to be called the magnetically originated joint habitation and nutrition system, Mojang system, MOJHAN. The passengers of this man-originated zone habitation and nutrition to be known as Mozan, M-O-Z or Z-H-A-N, from book #1. So we have the two different spellings and the two different aspects, as Mark suggested.
Okay, so the travelers in the system are called Mojans, and the system itself is called MOJHAN.
Right, the magnetically originated, as you mentioned, joint habitation and nutrition system.
Right, now what I was just pondering was the fact that Mr. Keshe started, you can see where you have the nutrition as the N. So Mr. Keshe is starting to show us about the nutrition and feeding. So he said further down the line, he's going to show us the dome technology or something along that line. So if we have a dome and we have nutrition, what more do you need? The dome will probably control temperatures and also nutrition. Wouldn't your needs be 90% met for most?
Possibly. Yes, indeed.
And as Stefania was saying, with the floating, and the structure then separates from the planet by so many feet or something. And now you have that protection as well. Or maybe go farther. Who knows? Thanks for that clarification, Rick. I finally got it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Mark.
And then I wanted to say it also very, very short. I couldn't say it before. Like the creator created the soul in his image, because this was also the #1 things about the soul teaching, that your soul is in you as image, as the creator, no? So the creator created the soul as his image, and give unconditional love, and the soul give unconditional love back, and create many. So you will create many soul. So you will have, he will have more love backs. Is how we feed, through the energy of the fields of the unconditional love is a field that feed you, and then the soul make the physical soul for the same things at his image. So we are the image of the soul. This physical soul is the image of the soul, and what we're doing right now, we also learn that by giving unconditional love, we give back. We give back to the soul. This this energy, so this food, you know. So basically, so the soul created the creator created the soul created the physical soul. So everyone is imaging of each other's, and everyone are for confirming the existence of each other, but also to have more love. If I give to you, I receive more for the pleasure of me know that you received. You know, so the creator receiving more love back from the souls that he creates, and the soul receive more from the physical soul. and so on. And the physical soul, by unconditional love, they give it back to the creator, kind of make this circle of unconditional love. And so in this way, the creator receiving more love back by doing this. It's the way how we feed in space, no? So if you take off the word love, love is the most strongest energy in the universe. So it's how we feed. And we confirm each other's existence. Just want to add this.
Hear the wind of love in the background again there now.
Yeah, sorry, it's windy here. Sorry, it's the wind. Sorry, I finished anyway. I'm not gonna talk anymore. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, well, perhaps we should wrap things up here. If we're not going to hear from Mr. Keshe, and we're complete with today's workshop. Is there anything else to add? Or are there any more questions or comments?
Okay.
Mark, you had a mic open, and Shweta.
No, go ahead, Shweta, please.
Oh, I was saying that thank you, Stefania, for explaining in clarity. And thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody. As we have experienced, as Stefania has experienced the Mojang, we have experienced from everywhere in our condition, a Mojang, you know, as a soul. We have elevated and then muted. As my experience, I have muted the physicality mostly, and then I became quiet. So this was the experience of the Mojang I am in the condition. As Stefania says, she couldn't recognize the blue. I was also recognizing the blue, but then I was not feeling it. But now I can feel. And I also see in clarity. You know, I was a sun gazer. From 2012, I started it. And then when I started the sun gazing, I can see all the structures of the soul of the mother in that. All the structure coming out like a vortex, like a spiral. And the sky is blue, and the blue is all that is love, the structure we are going to be in. So I can see that. So that is the peace I attained. I can stand, and for an hour and two I can stare the sky and I can see that. So this is why we were all somehow, as Azhar said, the whole world is experiencing a Mojang, and the souls are elevating somehow. Many are, and many will have to learn how to. So this is what I want to say. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Salam, namaste, salute. Thank you.
And if I may add, wasn't this Mr. Keshe's very original proposal to the world governments to show the people on the planet how to feed themselves and to generate their own power, their own energy? So this system looks like a fulfillment of that wish, even though Mr. Keshe says I don't operate on wishes. But it's very beautiful that it's come into fulfillment in this way.
Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, I think I can't see any other comments here. Doris says, thank you very much, Stefania. It was an inspiring experience to hear you sharing love and gratitude.
I noticed Mr. Keshe came back in.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Is there anything you'd like to say? We were about to close off here, but I see you come back in.
Good afternoon, good evening. Not really, I just rejoined. Been listening to Stephanie's way of what she talked and what she explained. In about 2-3 years ago, we started teaching, maybe more, 4 years ago, the ethos of Mojang. And in so many ways, now with a new understanding and technology and what has been taught in past few weeks, we start making the Mojangs. And the process of developing the new technology with a new knowledge will give us a new dimension, new ways to open new channels, new sciences and technologies. I've seen many people been trying to make the systems and if the knowledge seekers really truly set up the structures, they will see amazing things. And new knowledge will be gained. New understanding of science of universe will be understood. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we start teaching the universal communication systems unknown to man. If and the way we see it appropriate taking shape. Most probably by the presentation of the new enhancement systems in the city of Linz in the coming weeks. We will show the new structure of the power units, which mankind has been waiting so long. The new systems that you can generate power unlimited. The systems that are getting set up that, if may, will be shown. The new communication systems will be shown. We will use the Linz exhibition as a way of breakthrough into new knowledge and technology and science. And in so many ways, we'll set up conditions, will bring new knowledge and technology that will start changing the whole course in a very beautiful way, in a very soft way that allows, in so many ways, the Universal Council to start influencing the world situations in what we call the three primary conditions of food, energy, and health, freely available to humanity. And this way we start setting up what we call the condition of universal accessibility of energy to mankind. Many of you for years have been trying to create power, but power in a matter state, but not much science has been used to produce power in a sense of what we call universal conditions. None of you stands in the middle of the room and receives energy and DC or AC, but you all receive energy in the plasma system. In a way, we are the little post, because of its weakness, receives so much energy from the universe. And now we teach this technology. How does our body in the middle of the field connects universal fields that it absorbs from it? And why do we die of hunger? Why does man, with access to all these energies of the universe, dies of hunger? Why have we chosen that path and how we change it from now on? In the coming weeks, as many of you have been watching and looking at simple things, understanding simple plasmatic energy transfers, but none of you have looked beyond the line. None of you have looked how this technology is actually going to be implemented. Why are we teaching the 5 stacker units? What was the purpose of it? What is the reason such a technology has been shown? And I see people making a lot of shelves and all sorts of 5 stack of charts. What is about to bring for you? What is about to give you? Why knowledge seekers just copy things, but they don't understand it? Keshe Foundation knowledge has become a toy. How many boxes, how many wires can connect? Because none of you look beyond the box. And we start teaching for you to look beyond the box. And if you can see it, you will access a new technology and knowledge. If you cannot see it, you're really busy with springs and plates and whatever. How far knowledge seekers understand the new technology is dependent on the comprehension of totality of the field of the universe interaction. how do they interact, and why do they interact at the point where we call them into interact. We teach very compressed the basic knowledge of the universe in the past few weeks and in a few weeks to come. In a way, what will take millions of years to understand will be taught in a few weeks and months. And very few will be enlightened to understand. And if you do, it becomes the cornerstones of the world peace. They become the cornerstones of man's access to universal knowledge. And we need to look beyond. In many teachings in past years, I keep on explaining. Don't look at the walks, look at the fields. Don't look at the human body which walks. Look what fields does it stare, what does it create, what does it bring to itself. I tried in the past few weeks to go to as many Keshe Foundation, what we call teachings or groups, to explain and bring more and more out. That we bring the Keshe Foundation back to its focal point and condition to go ahead, for more knowledge seekers to come together and to start a process. The two most destructive people in the history of the Keshe Foundation are not there. They're left in the past few weeks, both Belgians. And now we'll see how we go. Everywhere there was a success, they targeted the foundation. We are recuperating, we are bringing everything back for you knowledge seekers to start not showing magravs, but showing the power of the magravs. And we start supporting different groups back in again. And we will start from this week teaching both sides and encouraging back the workshops. If the abuses of financial abuses stop spending knowledge seekers, we support these groups to start going back in teachings and in a big way. That the new space technology is taught back again by knowledge seekers. And one of these best groups we go back in to support is where the root of the foundation sits, in Holland. The Dutch team have started the workshops, which starts this Sunday, and we promise them to give them all support in the venue and how knowledge seekers in Holland and other places can attend. Is back in track, back to work. We will see it today as we announce it. On Thursday, the venue and everything will be explained by the knowledge seekers. Tuesdays should be used in a way that the groups go back in teaching and spreading the knowledge. And we go back supporting the workshops deeper, the ones who are still going and the ones who want to start back. And we see in so many ways that we need to support, to use the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to teach the new space technology and universal systems. If any of the members of the Dutch group are here who want to explain what they are doing this Sunday, we give them a free room to come in if they raise their hand and let them explain what they want to do if they are here. There is a vacancy in Netherlands Dutch-speaking Universal Council, which needs to be fulfilled, as Holland and Dutch language is mother base of the foundation. And in this process, we try to support all these in the coming time and in the coming week as we break into the space language and as we break into the space technology. After the exhibition in Linz in September, as I return to Iran, we want to take a bunch of knowledge seekers who are truly in space development to join us in Iran. That will generate the first group of knowledge seekers involved in space technology. And as I said, I have a commitment to the Iranian nation and government that I return to bring the space technology up. First, we show the systems and new technologies in Linz, and then from there on, we show the space technology through space technology in Iran, but as a one nation. And that's evolving of the new technology by all of us. Are there any questions or anything we can explain?
Francine asks in the YouTube, how can I contact the Dutch community?
Dutch community is very big, and Dutch community covers what we call Netherlands language, which covers north of in Belgium too. They are the original knowledge seekers. They are the original keepers of the technology, and we have to go to them and say how we can supply them, how we can bring them new understanding, how we can support them in teaching. It's a workshop, and you got to understand the Dutch group is one of the largest groups of the Keshe Foundation in Europe. I used to give lectures every week or two in different parts of Holland and in Belgium. The original knowledge seekers come from this area, but the way they were decimated by one guy, now he's gone, and then in a way not really supported. It allowed them to, in so many ways, they went shy and they went underground and disappeared very thin, but they're there. They need a lot of help. All of the Keshe Foundation groups need a lot of help.
So perhaps they could get in touch with the email for the Keshe Foundation at info@keshe.foundation. Would that be appropriate?
In a way, yes. They have a meeting every Thursday around about 8 o'clock in a Dutch meeting. Very few of them, the loyal ones who supported the foundation, those are the ones who went to courts and stood by the foundation are there. In so many ways, the Dutch group has to be supported. We are discussing, negotiating to build the first health center in Europe, in Holland, invested by the Middle Eastern investors. They should be hopefully with us on Thursday to announce the place and where they are and where the meeting will be held, that they can be supported. We gradually build on this, back on the track of the teachings. As I said, the situation in Iran is taking a very radical shape, and in the coming days and weeks, as we now publish the what we call the report on Corona, will be published as a book in Iran. We'll bring all this knowledge back into be used in the workshops, where people can go and learn how to make things, how to save themselves. Corona is not finished, but with it, we bring the new technologies. Most of the attraction with people came with the Magravs, because they're only interested in free energy. And none of them could develop it, and they could not see how it's done. And we kept on that track. Once we let the Magrav go, a lot of people who were after free energy disappeared with it, but they gained a lot of knowledge amongst them during it. And the Dutch groups are huge and very powerful in this line. In so many ways, in these teachings and workshops, knowledge seekers have to start looking at the fields, not at the system. We've seen it with the French team, which is again come together, and they work in simple ways. I asked the head of the Keshe Foundation to bring the German and the French teams back into the line of one nation, one planet. Not the way it was deliberately decimated by the ex-member of the National Council. Everywhere we saw developments, rapid growth, and people were working together. Deliberately, the key people were kicked out of the foundation under different banners. Now we asked them to come together back where they were. Even as the head of the Keshe Foundation says, they have two schools of thoughts. We support both. We don't need to destroy. You will see the same support coming back into German and the French and the Spanish groups. There was a systematic way, as the foundation groups were growing, to take the key people out. They were studying the psychology of the key members, and they made the enemy out of them to take them out. And then the whole thing is split. We go back into the French, we go back into Germans. I've asked the foundation to do this. We saw a lot of splits, deliberate divisions by the Universal Council member, deliberately. And now we are reinstating everything back in. but in a different way, in a bigger way, in a very equal, balanced way. And as the head of the foundation says, we have to accommodate all views. You will see as the head of foundation way of managing the foundation and the new groups and setting up will emerge gradually, that you will see the enlargement of one nation, one planet. Continuous division, continuous animosity set up between groups who we could understand the language of is gone. We saw how Portuguese has been brought back in. We'll bring the same thing to the Germans to build strong groups with different point of views, but respect. All the knowledge seekers around the world to be brought back with a new knowledge and technology which is coming up. But through new ways, new technologies. The head of the foundation will release new ways, new restructuring more or less the whole of the Keshe Foundation in a way it was planned, now is going to be executed. If you have workshops as a groups, languages, if you have teachings as group languages, Thursday morning and Tuesday afternoon teachings will become the focal point for you to come and to report or to promote, to make one nation. We start giving the platform for this back in the system again. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe. It's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask a question regarding, once before, you mentioned about being able to speak various different languages or communicate in different languages through the cups. Is this still a possibility? Is this still something that you are going to develop or have developed? Because obviously the language barrier is a big thing for an Englishman who doesn't speak another language.
Yeah, the Englishman is the worst man to learn the language because he thinks everybody speaks English, so he doesn't need to learn much.
That's very true. It's very true. They get lazy, the English, because everybody has spoken English, and that's that's always been a fault of the English. I'm sorry to say.
And the head of the Keshe Foundation of China, Wang Lin, has started a teaching of universal languages in so many ways, as groups in China are taking shape in this. Some of it sounds funny, but as the head of the foundation, they start breaking through in universal languages. They had their second or third session in China last week. They're exploring the understanding of universal language, and the position of it is at its infancy, but initially she used to speak funny language. Then we understood there's a bigger structure to it, and it can be translated to human language. And universal language is spoken is in a very, it sounds very funny, but at the moment they are making all sorts of noises, but they understand in essence what they're talking about. And it's taken its first steps in China, as is the responsibility of Mehran for international unification of the community of the foundation, the universal community. And it's very interesting. This part has already started taking shape, and we will bring it out of China once it's developed. It takes a few more months. But it's getting taught amongst the knowledge seekers of China at this moment. Chinese knowledge seekers have taken this step because they understand it. If you hear it, it's very funny, but gradually it'll change to the noise and the voice of the soul of the man.
So we will hear it in physicality. We will hear these noises. It's not just a thought transfer or the fields interacting with ourselves, with our thoughts. It is physical language.
It's both. Depends
both.
which way you're open to. It depends how you feel it, how you understand it.
Dakar.
It is now it's under development bit Mehran, and is gradually with the Chinese knowledge seekers to start feeling it, understand, and it's going to is what I call gameplay. But it's already started in China. As if you were in the last few teachings, I explained some of the two heads of the foundation. One is bringing it from infancy up as an individual, and one is opening up as a society. And Mehran has taken that part as Ella takes shapes in the other end. They had a meeting, I think, last Saturday.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for explaining that. That's beautiful to know. The universal language, would obviously, with everything that has been spoken about today, would be a very beautiful thing to know and to obviously enhance ourselves in our lives. Once we join with the universal community, obviously we'll need to communicate with them. And it will be a fascinating and beautiful learning process. I'm sure you'll teach us beautifully. Thank you.
Welcome. The new units, which a lot of you are making, if you understand it and construct it the right way, will bring you the human soul light. The Keshe Foundation research team has already set the first system in a way of Earth Universal System this morning. I looked at it sometime this afternoon when it was completed, where as the other part of the teaching is completed, you will see in the human soul communication, even with the plants, even with the stones, even with solids. It was worked on heavily past days and finally assembled today, this morning, where you will see the light of the soul of the creation of this planet. As I said, knowledge seekers look for physical condition. In our way of doing, we look for universal field laws. And the first system, the way more or less should be, has been set up as a beacon of the fields of this planet. We will not teach it in public, as it will become another game. We let the knowledge seeker reach the understanding, where you interact with the fields of this planet, where you feed yourself from it, where you transfer communication and emotion to it. The first basic structure was completed today. We let it flow, we let it build up, and gradually, we most probably show it in the LINS conference exhibition.
Mr. Keshe, is the sorry, Mr. Keshe, is the LINS conference still open for attendees? Is it? Can you still?
It's not a conference. LINS exhibition is, we allow certain number of people per day due to what we're seeing now, Corona, to visit the exhibition center. The 2 units will be there. The number of other things you all seen or you see will be there. And in so many ways, we try to set up a small, what we call a conference section or talk chat section between the knowledge seekers and what they see and what they perceive to be in the next steps of it. You have to register for it. It's a €100 donation system on it, put to cover the expenses of it, and you'll be allocated a given time to attend, to be in the exhibition, like a morning or afternoon, and we control what hours, just to be within the regulations of the Austrian government in number of people per public areas, if he applies, how and where it might be. It'll be announced on Thursday. There is a capacity of about 50 people a day maximum we're looking. It's not just coming, it's interacting with and seeing and becoming part of the work of the foundation. In a way, we learn with the progress as much as you learn with the knowledge. We put a very limited numbers of people who will allow to go through the first day, and the second day is for dignitaries, ambassadors, and the head of the nation. What we call, we'll invite those who want to attend. The Iranian ambassador, the Chinese ambassador, and a number of other ambassadors and dignitaries will be invited the first day. As I said, the exhibition carries 3 flags of China, Austria, and Iran as a joint development of the new technology. We are very open about it, but there won't be that much space for many people. We have a rough idea of about 1,000 people in total. We would like to attend and to come in, and then we stop. We are in a good position to, by that time, to bring the technology openly into arena. Once announced, I think mainly European people will be able to come to see it, European knowledge seekers and officials, or those who wanted to buy the units. And the rest will be, as we see, this restriction of the Corona most probably by then we'll bring another strength to Keshe Foundation during the exhibition. That's we will show it. But the 2 units will be there. And a lot of people like to go inside it. I said, there is no reason to go inside unless you're sick, you know what it is. And then go through the organizations and people who bought the units to start, as they start receiving the units in October, September, October time, in November, that we start the beginning of the centers around the world. All both units will be in a working condition, but it's not for people just to go inside to see how it feels. It doesn't work that way.
Thank you for explaining that, Mr. Keshe. The situation with people coming in and experiencing that unit, even though you say they will not go inside, will they experience the fields? Even is it in a condition at all?
We try to create a condition that people come in to see, to understand, to observe the operation. Some hidden new technologies are incorporated in this new units. And these are enhancement units in energy and material. And we will see how we show different things. These technologies has never been taught in public anywhere by the Keshe Foundation. And will not be released into public. They are hidden within the inner sanctums of the system. And even if people open it up, they'll never understand it.
So real universal knowledge, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. That's beautiful.
In a way, yes, we brought knowledge beyond understanding. As those of you who attended the Vienna conference last year saw the heartbeat without any electronics. The true heartbeat by the fields operation. The true maggraph units are incorporated in the plasma level in this unit, in all these units which come up. We don't look for matter state current, we look for plasma state current. We have created, and those of you who will see, will ever get to see it and understand it, the true universal soul within the systems. There'll be a very limited number of people will be allowed in, and then we go into the steps of the other part of the teaching, it's space development and flight.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. It's been many of us have been following the teachings and your knowledge for a very long time. Some of us not, but we're all anticipating and looking forward to interacting with that beautiful soul and all your teachings. I thank you very, very much for everything that you've done for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. The knowledge now belongs to the knowledge seekers, and you will understand how the lens exhibition will be used in a totally different way that a lot of you envisage. And it'll bring a different dimension to sharing of the knowledge internationally. Any other question?
We had a question in the YouTube. Is someone working in Mexico with this knowledge?
Yes.
I responded that there are many in Mexico.
We have a center in Tijuana, and we had a conference in Mexico. Mexico at the moment is in a turmoil with Corona. And it's the same with Brazil. But Brazil has taken a different direction in public teaching and interaction with the communities and the people. And Mexico has taken different direction by the knowledge seekers. Mexico is the only place where there is actually a center in Tijuana. Get in touch with them in Tijuana with the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers and build it up. But at the moment, as we say, the Mexican, what we call nation, is in the turmoil with this situation. Many have died. And there's a grip of it.
I have a question from Ram in YouTube. Can you confirm that the unit will provide gold?
Next question.
Thank you.
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean again here. When we were in, I came to the Mexico conference, and it was a wonderful experience. And the Mexican people and the hospitality of that nation and everybody was very, very incredibly beautiful. I actually was not surprised, but they were so welcoming and so beautiful. That why is it that nations like this that have the people's soul is so beautiful, they get touched by this virus? Why is it some of the most beautiful people seem to suffer the most?
We're all beautiful and we all get touched. Now it's become a silent killer. Now it's become a silent virus. You walk across any city, you see the signs of it. Now we start learning to live with it. In a way, it'll kill some of us, but in general, what we see, a lot of people have start learning to live with We are careful not to catch it. We are careful not to do it. But if you go in the background, you'll see most of the hospitals across the world are full with corona patients, but under different names and banners. And numbers don't count anymore. It's literally large percentage of us all been infected. We're all infected, from the animals to humans right across this planet. This virus has taken over, and to what extent will show itself, we will know in maybe a couple of decades. Brazil is heavily suffering. Iran hospitals are full to the rim. There's no more room. The minute Keshe Foundation team creates an empty bed, next one is full in. We see the true implication of corona on the nation in Iran, because it's open to us. We see it, we firsthand. People are in the hospitals, we understand it. The rest are more or less covering it up, but cannot be any different than what we see in Iran. Maybe with so much implication of the cancers, we see better results, more reduction in the cases. As we speak, there are more than 5,000 Iranians online of different Keshe Foundation groups getting help. I watch it and I'll see how different groups are working in this way. We haven't covered that many outside, but in Iran we'll see a very good examples, and it's not that people are not there, people are there to get help, and they get help by the groups. In Iran is extensive. The corona in its true essence is taking hold on Iran very drastically. And Iran cannot be the only nation.
Mr. Keshe, if the universal community, you've stated before and said before that the universal community are amongst us and have always been present and are always present, would they be affected by this particular virus on this matter state planet? Would that affect them in their physical bodies?
What do you mean?
Well, if a universal being is here present on this planet, would their physical bodies be affected by the virus, or would they, with the knowledge and their understanding of the universe, be able to overcome the virus's effects?
They come or we come?
They come, or we come. I mean, yes, we. I know it's we, but it's not. I'm trying to explain it for some people who wouldn't understand that yet. So they come.
We all get affected by it, and they are not immune to it, but they know how to handle and how to manipulate energies. And how they will open it up to humanity is their own. It's been a policy for a long, long time. It's been an understanding for a long, long time that the universal community doesn't teach anything to humanity. Nothing. They come, they go, you see the UFOs, they become shape of you, they become amongst you, and they leave. Something which is very interesting but not understood is, do they need to show themselves to be amongst us? Or like you go fancy party, they dress up in the fancy clothes of the man to be amongst them. We look at it 50, 100 years to the cycle of their life is seconds.
Wow, Ms. Keshe, that last sentence that you've just spoken was that was wonderful. Thank you.
We don't understand the knowledge. We don't understand the cycle of zero time and space. And when you come from universal community, that one cycle of what we call to man of one day is billion years of the man's cycle of life. So it's not much when you're here. It's just going to a fancy party. Gradually you will see as the new structures take shape. And this is something we learned very, very early on.
Thank you for this wonderful conversation. It's enlightening, and at the same time, it makes you wonder about our present situation on the present conditions and environment on this planet, and that have developed, or we've let develop through our own thoughts and intentions. It's really starting to your teachings are really starting to become understood, I think, by many more people. And I thank you for that. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
We have an attendee with a hand up here, Mark, who might have a question.
Evening, Mr. Keshe. What is this? Has the situation changed in any way with the Iranian health minister?
No. We've gone beyond it. The Keshe Foundation has gone beyond this situation. We have become part of what we call, in a different way, of the civil defense, but the Iranian way in the religious side, we had to bring our Keshe Foundation team on a protection because we could not deal with the president and the Minister of Health. The present government has found, or not the government, but the leadership has found a solution for the Keshe Foundation, which is taking shape in next, already has started to protect the knowledge seekers in Iran who are helping away from the hand of the, what we call the minister. But soon it'll change. We are watching it as the leadership is taking the Keshe Foundation through the processes in the country. We are going through a different channel. Not we, but they have put us themselves in different channels of the expansion across Iran.
We have another hand raised, Mr. Keshe, from Ike. Need to go ahead.
Yeah, good day, Mr. Keshe. No, I was just it's reminiscing in a way, kind of. I remember growing up, we were taught. I grew up Catholic. We were taught about the way to perceive the number of days in Earth, like 1,000 days on Earth is like a day in the God's kingdom. So it's in relation to what you said on how the universal community perceive what is going on here.
So it has been. Can I ask you a question? What is the situation now with Corona in California?
It's still bad. You know, they have it's not kind of locked down anymore, but it's all on everybody's discretion. But major government offices are closed. And the media is still trying to fight. Some businesses are still trying to fight. And a lot of businesses are going out of business. Shops are closed, some are open. So it's still, it's not stable. It's getting worse than it was before.
You haven't gone back to normality.
Not fully. One minute, something like some students got infected again somewhere in Orange County. So they try to open their schools and then they have all these issues on it. So the LA school district canceled. Then some other school district is coming up. So they are debating. So it's just a whole lot of confusion and going on. But we see.
It's got to the point that we cannot stop. The first panic stage has gone through. Now people try to find out, but some damages are huge and permanent, and some can be recovered. As we said, there is a need and a time for emergence of new technologies to change the situation. Any other point? What is interesting for us is to see how Universal Council will start taking shape. And as the ethos of last week or the roadmap they set out will start taking shape and doesn't become just words and a few seconds of covering time. How the Universal Council members will start structuring their way around the teaching of the Keshe Foundation and around the new understanding. Operation of the soul of the man and working on the officers' papers and whatever which doesn't exist on the other dimension, but they have to be between the two. The new teaching, the new understanding of the soul coexists with the matter state of the existence too. And this is the harshest part for the humanity. To live and work in both dimensions and be comfortable in both. Because in a way, they see the beauty of their souls in their physicality, but on the other hand, the soul is busy with what it's doing with the rest of the universe. This is the point where a lot of you will find problems, and we see a lot of people having problems. Not to rely just to go on to the soul and not stay with the physicality, but be comfortable to be in both dimensions. And this is part of the work of the teachings which we are doing. If you work through the soul, understand the work of it, you will see amazing things. We are witnessing one of the biggest evolutions in the soul of the man, even within the Keshe Foundation. Those what we call with the dark souls have left. And those who are in the process of growing into direction will find new ways of evolution. And we will see a new emergence of technologies through the soul of the man, to understanding of the energies, field motions of the universe. And we have started that with teaching the past few weeks. And when you come to Lens, you will see the first interaction units as it's set up to interact with the body of man. You feel it, you'll be part of it. The first steps of it, as I said, has been completed today, and it'll be shown where you will feel, you really truly will feel how you become part of the universal energy system. In a way, then we give you a chance to become part of it and to see how you react with it, how you interact with it. Thank you very much for today. Hopefully, we start teaching the soul of the man in an easier way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I was just going to mention we're coming up on the 4-hour mark here, so it's probably a good time to take a break.
Goodbye. Yeah. Thank you very much. See you on Thursday. And please start setting up these background teachings and your workshops. And the foundation will support you through that way.
Could you explain a little more about that before we leave here? What do you mean by the background teaching?
We saw the emergence of workshops around backgrounds, people who were after free energy. We would like to see the setting of the technology around energies of with Corona, where people can be taught how to make cups for their lives, which is more important at the moment than anything else. And these workshops has to become how you went for free energy, now you got to go for a free life from, or at least coexisting without paying Bitcoin. And this is our main objective, to bring back workshops. People do it for saving lives, not the way we saw people did workshops charging €500 for people to make a maghreb unit which they didn't even understand themselves what they were making. The true maghreb systems, where the plasma power technology, it has been used in what we call the enhancement units. And we hid it in a way that you never see it. And those of you who were looking for a power supply, the true power supply, is embedded in these systems. And that's what we want to do. We want to teach the use of the technology for Corona, how much you can teach people, how workshops you put in. This time we see the true knowledge seekers, not those who are just after making money and selling some like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. And thanks to the Universal Council for their presentations today, and for everyone for the questions and comments. This has been the 130th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. And also we have the Keshe Plasma Reactor group coming up, which is Wednesday, 7 a.m. Central European Time, or 10 p.m. on Tuesday today in Pacific Time. So if people have replications or devices or concepts that they're working with, then bring your questions, comments, and contraptions to the Keshe Plasma Reactor group, where we can discuss it. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you everybody for attending. Bye for now.